I would like to acknowledge with great love and appreciation my gratitude to Esther and Jerry Hicks for courageously and unfalteringly taking this path. We are all blessed to have the opportunity to converse and commune with infinite intelligence. And we might add, you do not need Jerry or Esther to do that. Infinite intelligence is there for all of you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Abraham, you have touched my life in such a wonderful and transformational way, and in so doing have changed every life that I interact with. I have a variety of questions that are not only important to my life, but to many that will be receiving your magnificent clarity. Shall we begin? What vibrational effect in a co-creative relationship do fantasies have? For example, if I have a sexual fantasy that I enjoy and it does not involve my spouse, does this create some discord in our relationship even though she is not aware of it consciously? It depends on how you feel about it. In other words, if you offer a sexual fantasy and it's exhilarating to you and you're not factoring in how she would feel if she knew, then you're offering a vibration that's pure, which can only be uplifting in nature to her. And so, again, it's about you cleaning up your vibration. But few of you really are able to isolate your vibration without including how other people feel about it. But that still is the answer. Okay, can I continue on this vein? If we enter a public place and I happen to see a woman that I perceive as attractive and beautiful, she often picks up on this no matter how subtle and brief my attention. Good. This often results... Why keep it to yourself when it can uplift her? This often results in some discomfort. For who? For her and invariably for me. It makes her uncomfortable to feel appreciated? Well, if I'm looking upon someone else and appreciating them, that seems to activate something within her. Within who? Within her. Yes, my spouse. Well, if you, through your life experience, train your mate into believing that the only appreciation that you could offer has to be directed only at her, you have encouraged her into expecting you to live a very limited life experience. And it also fosters within her a dependency upon your attention, which you cannot possibly uphold. So you're setting both you and her up for failure, for discomfort, constant discomfort. And so we know that this is not an easy thing to all of a sudden rectify, because so many relationships are sort of fostered in that way. Even your marriage vows tend to say, we will hold only unto ourselves and we will not appreciate anybody else, and we'll stay together no matter how rotten we are to each other in sickness and in health until death do us part, and please God let it come soon. So let's say you walk into a place and you see someone who you think is beautiful. Now, are you allowed to look at beautiful flowers? Yes. Are you allowed to look at beautiful sunsets? Yes. So you're allowed to find appreciation for anything that your wife does not see as competition. Mm-hmm. So now, if we were a physician trying to cure the illness, we could give you techniques so that you could bolster her, and we could teach you how to use your eyes more effectively so that you could only secretly appreciate others, in other words. But what we really want to do is to get at the cause of it, which is the insecurity that your spouse is feeling. What is the cause for her insecurity? And we want you to understand, and we don't want it to hurt your feelings, although it might be a good thing if it does, her insecurity isn't nearly as much about you as you think it is or as she thinks it is. In other words, it's about her vibrational relativity. When someone is feeling insecure, it's about them having practiced thoughts that does not allow full alignment with source energy. Right. And when you're not allowing yourself to blossom in the full way that you are, then that discomfort is present within you, and you gravitate toward many things that you think is the reason for it. When you come together in relationships, it's interesting. In most cases, not always, but this is usually the case, each of you are finding something that you appreciate in the other. Sort of like the stranger that you are appreciating across the room. You're finding something that you appreciate. And as you find something that you appreciate, you become a vibrational match to your source, because your source finds something to appreciate in everyone
to whom you focus. Everyone that you lay your eyes upon, source is finding something to appreciate. So as you find something that you're focused upon, and source is finding something to appreciate, and you come into a vibrational alignment with that, now you are the whole of who you are, and it's an uplifting experience. So here you are, new in this relationship, and you are appreciating her, and she is appreciating you, which means both of you have come into alignment with your source, and now you've got two totally connected beings who are focused upon one another, and it is ecstasy. That's as good as life gets, you see. But then, if your connection to source is dependent upon somebody else's attention of you, now you have to hold them hostage. Now they can never turn their attention to anything else. Otherwise, you're like a puppet that somebody let go of the strings. And then you say, our relationship doesn't feel the way it once felt. You don't love me as much as you once did. And we want to say it's not about how the other is holding you. It's about how you are holding the other in the way the other is holding you. Here's the best definition that we could give of insecurity. Insecurity is the way I feel when the way I feel is dependent upon something you do. Because I can't control what you do, even with marriage vows. I can't control what you do, even with prenuptial agreements. I can't control what you do, even with dictates from God and church and country and laws. I can't control what anyone else does. And if my happiness, if my sense of well-being depends upon how you look at me when you can't possibly only hold me as your object of attention, then I'm setting myself up for a lot of trouble, you see. It's an interesting thing as we watch male and female in your society. Not always the case, but often. His dominant quest is to be free. Hers too, really. But society has caused her to focus more upon trying to soothe that raging insecurity that she's been developing through society. And so she feels insecure. He wants freedom. And the more he seeks freedom, the more insecure she gets. And the more insecure she feels, the more bound he feels. And so this is the basic struggle that we see, at least in the Western world, of the consciousness between partnerships. And you've both got to get over it. In other words, you cannot change your behavior enough to make someone else feel secure. And that's why when you say, I see someone across the room and I like what I see, we say good. And when you say, and the woman who sees me appreciating her likes what I see, we say good. And you say, and my mate hates it, we say good. Because she's got some work to do. In other words, she's got to get over that. She cannot let her happiness depend upon your behavior, or she's going to hate you for one reason or another forevermore. You've got to tend to your emotional scale, and she's got to attend to her emotional scale. And when you make her emotional scale your job, then you're like the government that makes promises it can't keep. And people end up on rooftops because they're not self-sufficient, because they believed the lies that the government well-meaningly offered. In other words, your government wants to believe that it has the ability to do all your thinking for you. It just can't.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you.